125 days ago in the Arizona desert, we crowned a champion in Alex Abeti. The German became the 10th different driver in the history of the championship to have the opportunity to run car number one. Numerous team, driver, and car changes have resulted in one of the most hyped seasons in series history. Who will take home the season-long crown? We have to begin that journey tonight. Our venue for this evening is the virtual Knockhill circuit. Opened in 1974, North American Simulated Auto Racing started visiting this circuit in 2023A, and it immediately had action. A lap of this circuit is certainly a roller coaster at 0.86 miles in length, with 6 corners in total, 5 to the right and 1 to the left. The lap begins with a climb up the hill and an immediate plunge down Duffus Dip. The road angles away slightly, so we will notice cars using all of the green AstroTurf runoff on corner exit, and immediately following Duffus Dip is the signature dirt section, 1 lane, extremely bumpy. It'll require the driver's peak focus to not end up in the barrier at any point. The Joker is a longer lap here in Knockhill, but we'll watch out on the Joker merge. They come out much faster than the other cars, so we've seen plenty of accidents in the past. Our format for this evening is as follows. 26 cars will be split into 4 heat races, 6 laps apiece, and you have to take the Joker lap once. The top 2 will immediately transfer to the feature. The winner gets 2 bonus points, and the runner-up gets 1 as well. More on that later. The rest of our competitors will be funneled into the last chance qualifiers, 5-lap races, Joker lap once, the winners transfer, and not a lot of time for mistakes. This sets the grid for a 10-car, 10-lap feature race where the points are awarded and trophies are handed out. Unique to NASA Rallycross, 2 Jokers will be taken by the drivers. The stage is set for an incredible 27th season of the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge here on the Automotive Sports Network. With Bryan Sawyer in the production truck, 10 NASA Rallycross championships are represented in the commentary box as 4-time series champion Philip Kraus is next to me. My name is Josh Mertz as we welcome you to the Scottish Grand Prix. Our series is brought to you by Overwatch Specialty Service. The only thing more unique than your problem is our solution, and for more information, visit osscenter.com. We thank you, Rob Hartland, so much for your support over the last couple seasons here in NASA. Our coverage all season is also brought to you by NordVPN. If you're worried about hackers stealing your personal information or being tracked online, NordVPN is here to keep you safe. With military-grade encryption and advanced security features to keep your browsing activity and personal data completely private. With over 5,500 servers in 59 countries, you can enjoy fast and secure internet access from anywhere in the world. Plus, their no-logging policy means your online activity is never tracked or recorded. Protect your online privacy and enjoy unrestricted access to your favorite content with NordVPN. Try it risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Check out asnTVUSA.com and click on NordVPN on the sidebar for up to 63% off a 2-year plan. Our cameras also, for the entire season, are provided by TrackCams22.com. Phil, this is the 3rd time we have been here to Scotland, but the first time it is the season opener. Josh Clogg won here last season, and the Maryland driver looks to rebound after the near miss. But with Alex Abeti and Francois Martel, the title rivals from last season, they're now on the same team. So will we see some fireworks a lot like us a couple years ago?
I don't know, Josh, but first off, it's great to be back with some NASA Rallycross competition. It's been a while, and happy to be back in the saddle in the commentary box, and I'm sure the drivers are happy to be back in the seats of their virtual race cars. But yeah, really looking forward to this race. We haven't had the opener in Scotland, as you've said, and it's a really hectic track, so it'll be interesting to see how these drivers attack it, as it's the first race of the season for them.
Super excited to be here, and Alex Abeti on track in car number 1. According to timing, he is fastest, so just where he wants to be. Now in a Subaru for TWR Subi Squad, joins forces with Francois Martel, like we had just mentioned. So it's going to be certainly interesting to see. We've got 9 teams in the Constructors' Championship registered. If I can do some quick math, that's probably most of our field. Mika Esport, Dirt Esport, LRL Racing Team, Squadra Stunzed, TWR Subi Squad, and the Subi Dubi Squad, Woven Planet Gold, TWR Bug Life, and Woven Planet, the second team for them as well. And Josh Clogg actually joined forces with Justin Robichaux for Woven Planet, so let's keep an eye on the Maryland driver partnering with the Canadian. And we're just finishing up practice here. Alex Abeti, Josh Clogg, Romain Rateau, Martel, and Justin Ament, the top 5. But it's going to be an interesting battle here, Phil, Alex Abedi ran a 36.440, Josh Clogg a 36.470. Nothing between those two.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle for sure, and as you alluded to, some team changes, Josh Clogg and then obviously Abedi and Martel as teammates. That's going to be a really tight intra-team battle. So it'll be interesting to see how that boils out over the course of the season, but everyone's eyes right now are just on this upcoming qualifying session in the next few seconds here.
As we do have 5 minutes, 3 laps. Everyone's going to get their own track session, so there's no worries about traffic. And I'm shaking a little bit getting ready for this first qualifying session of the season. First season in 2023A, or 2023, I should say. And coming up on 11 years, we were talking about it in the driver's briefing. Some of these guys, brand new to the championship, had no idea that it's been around for so long. And we wonder who will etch their name onto the championship trophy at season end. But Phil, we've got to get through qualifying. Who looks good? Has to be Alex, maybe Rateau.
Alex, you can't bet against me. He was a champion last season for a reason. He's definitely got pace, and that #1 car and the red plate, that's a symbol of that. But I'd be looking out for his teammate, Francois Martel, as well. He always pulls out a stormer in qualifying, and obviously Josh as well. He's looking to right the wrongs of last season and come out swinging.
As we look at Alex Abedi in car #1, as we're going to ride on board here shortly with the German, and we'll be able to actually describe how crazy this track is. We did a test race a couple weeks ago at this track, and I decided to dust off the Subaru and get in the car, and it was something else. This track, one groove through the dirt, like we'll see. And true to NASA fashion, as Alex is going to stop here, maybe get a test start, but you can use the Joker to get a better run to begin your qualifying lap. Super crucial, but it's also tricky to spot the braking point. Into turn 1 as we ride on board defending champion Alex Abedi, crossing the line, up the hill, under the bridge to Duffus Dip, all the way to driver's left, brake at the cone, make the apex. You can run the AstroTurf, but he goes wide! And that might be a track cut for the defending champion, Phil.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. He's going to keep pushing on, and we'll have to see. Obviously, there's no real reason for him to reset. I don't think the car gets particularly slower over multiple laps. So we'll see when he comes around to the start-finish line. But right now, he's navigating his way through that really tricky dirt section back onto the pavement, and he's going to be going through the Joker again. So yeah, that lap wasn't validated, Josh.
As going to maximize the run off the corner. Times begin to flow in. Magnus Okenhaug, 36.645. Fastest of all goes Francois Martel at a 4.42. Josh Clogg close as well. Betty down to turn 1 once again. Deep on the brakes. Skipping under braking. Does he do it again? All 4 on the AstroTurf. Clips the curb. Rounding turn 2. Very easy to get this wrong. And through the dirt, such a blind section. You're really just relying on muscle memory and really faith that you have the ability to not junk the car, especially here. It gets really gnarly on the bumps and almost funnels you into these tire barriers, as we saw Chris Wetz last season. Final corner for the defending champion, Abedi, rounding the final corner. Let's see what he will do. Way out wide, crosses the line, 36.615. He is not going to be on pole position. And I say that because, yes, he has another lap fill, but you have to use that extra track on the Joker.
Yeah, it just looked like he was a little bit messy through turn 1 and 2 as we're watching that back. I thought he got another track cut, to be honest with you, Josh, because he hit that bollard on the far left, and I think that's what invalidates your lap. But it looks like he's okay. But up front, we got Francois Martel and then Romain Rateau, only 16 thousandths of a second behind him.
It's a French-speaking affair on the front row, or what would be the front row, and this is crucial because this sets the grid, obviously, for the heat races. And Francois Martel, 36.442. Romain Rateau, 36.458. And here's Chris Wetz. We have to mention, this is the one man that has raced at least once in every single season. Yes, all 27 of them over the last 10 and a half years. And Chris Wetz, so close to getting a championship so many years ago, 2012B and 2014A, but Phil, he could never close the deal.
Yeah, he could never close the deal, but it's really nice to see Chris still racing in the NASA Rallycross Challenge. Obviously, he's had some trials and tribulations on the iRacing platform, but he still shows up most weeks and gives it his all as he crosses the line there to go 20th on a 38.031.
As we don't want to forget, there have been 39 winners in the history of this championship, and Chris Wetz in car number 71 sits third all-time on the wins list with 20. Second is Philip Kraus, and I hate to mention the guy that is first all-time on the wins list. I really hate mentioning that, Phil, so I guess that's your job.
Who's that guy who's first?
I guess that's your job.
Josh Mertz guy, I think?
As qualifying winding down, and what's so interesting is because you have to use the Joker to get the run to begin your lap, realistically, qualifying might be done and dusted despite having 30 seconds left here, but we'll just have to wait and see.
It's looking like I'm still seeing a few cars circulating, Josh. I see Cody Winiecki finishing a lap here in the 903. I'm not sure what he's going to say. That's a 38.8, which puts him 22nd. I don't think he actually improved on his last lap time.
As we have 20, over 20, I think we have 26 cars. We do have 26 cars. We might have actually had an extra entry or two. The confirmations on our Discord channel were a little wonky, so we might be missing a couple cars. So we'll certainly get it fixed for next week in Brands Hatch. And we are getting ready for the first heat race of the season, of the calendar year. And it always is one of the most exciting, the first green flag of the season. Francois Martel on pole for TWR Subi Squad. LRL is back with Magnus Okenhow. Got so close in 2020A. Bodie Cryer moves to Woven Planet. Russell Peterson is back. Cody Crosgrove, who we thought was going to win the Sportsman Championship, back from those horrific injuries. So happy to have him back. Dylan Thomas of our IMSA series is here as well. And Ivan Ho in the 7th position in the Volkswagen car number 25. We get ready for our first heat race of the evening. A Ford, a Volkswagen, and the rest are Subarus. Pick your favorite car, but tell me why it's a Subaru as we get ready for this first heat race. Everybody getting on grid. Has a little bit of a growing pain with the graphics, so hopefully we can get that fixed. Thank you, Bryan Sawyer, for all of your work either way. As we go green for heat number 1, Cryer gets a great start compared to Martel. Magnus Okenhow is going to lead us down to turn number 1, side by side into the first corner of the Norwegian against Bodie Cryer from Texas. Magnus runs it wide, very deep in turn 2, and he might not hold the lead. Rounding the corner, Cryer to the race lead. Side by side, Russell Peterson with Francois Martel. Very hard to do it side by side through the dirt. Martel gets turned. No, he doesn't. He saves it. With Peterson in tow and 4th, Crosgrove, Thomas, and Ivan Ho through the field. You cannot take the Joker on the first lap here in Knockhill as we round the final sequence of corners, Phil. Interesting. Bodie Cryer leads ahead of Magnus Okenhow.
I don't think any of us had that on our bingo card, Josh, but I just want to give a big shout out to Martel and Russell Peterson. They showed a lot of respect on that first lap through the dirt section. Obviously, Martel didn't get the start he wanted to, but really clean between those two. And I thought that Magnus Okenhow might have had a slowdown with how wide he went at turn 1, but it looks like he's going to be fine in the second place.
Right, kind of rode him off in that first corner because that was super wide, but he probably just made it by the skin of his teeth to avoid a slowdown by the sim. That gives me a lot of anxiety every time a driver goes through that section. Will anybody Joker? Cody Crosgrove does in the 18, so the man from Canada, who we thought was going to win that Sportsman Cup, we'll go over that shortly, but those injuries at his job, lucky that he's here, lucky that he's racing, and we're so thankful to have him back. We ride on board with Crosgrove. We missed a pass off monitor. Martel goes to second ahead of Magnus Okenhow. So the French-Canadian in car number 12 ahead of the Norwegian Magnus Okenhaug in the 26. And Bodie Cryer trying to pull away. Let's see if we're going to have any Joker rotation. Martel off the road in the 12. Magnus follows him in the 26. Crosgrove in the back of the shot. Magnus goes to the inside of Martel. Will he get the slipstream down the front straight, Phil?
I don't think it's a long enough run to turn 1 for Okenhoug to really challenge Martel. I think his play right now, we know Martel's probably the quickest driver in this heat. He needs to hope that Martel will lead him past Bodie Cryer so these two can transfer to the final.
There's Russell Peterson struggling in the 59. I looked at him off monitor. He was having some trouble coming through turn 2. So we're going to really focus on Bodie Cryer. As we notice on our ticker, above the purple line, you're in the transfer. Below the purple line, you have to go to the LCQ. As we just hit cross flags. We take 2 laps to go. Cross flags halfway, for those of you that are new. As Martell still battling Magnus. I don't think they're going to have to worry now with Peterson. They get by him. This is going to be a battle for the transfer.
Yeah, these two are pretty much on top of each other in that last lap.
Off the road goes Martell. Commentator's curse. To the inside goes Okenhaug to the second spot.
As I was going to say, Josh, before that happened for Martell, obviously it was assisted by the Joker exit, but they were almost 0.8 of a second quicker than Bodie Cryer that last lap. And it looks like the Joker delta's about 5.5 seconds, and with Magnus sitting last lap 5.1 behind, there's a really good chance he might get by him as Bodie takes the Joker now.
Cryer Jokers on exit. They're
going to be pretty wide, Josh.
Pretty wide. He has to nail the brakes. We've got 3 cars under a blanket. White flag in Knockhill. Welcome back, NASA Rallycross. And this is a battle for the top 2. Bodie's going to back out of it. Not a good idea, maybe, at least in my opinion here, Phil.
I don't think he had a choice, Josh. It's hard to go through that corner side by side, especially on the last lap of the race. He's just... I think, yeah, you're right. It wasn't the right choice, but he had to do it.
And the field all accordioned back up together. And Magnus Okenhaug, like you said, I don't think we had this on our bingo card. The Norwegian starting the season like he wants to. Winning Heat 1, he's on pole. Martell transfers. And Bodie Cryer, who we thought had a great opportunity, in third ahead of Russell Peterson, Cody Crosgrove, as Ivanhoe in 7th. And we're missing Dylan Thomas in the 6th spot.
Yeah, Josh, I think Bodie would have actually had that. He just got unfortunate that out of the final corner, Magnus and Martell were in the middle of a battle. If they had been single file, I think he would have just shot by him and taken that, but he had to slam on the binders and just kind of settle for third, pretty much.
He's got more class than I would. I would have probably sent it to the inside and probably wadded people up. But
there was just about enough of a gap to shoot it through the middle, 3 wide. I probably would have gone for that. But knowing my luck, I would have just killed Magnus and had to write him an apology after the race.
Romain Rateau on pole position for heat number 2. Steve Angie, Justin Robichaux, Matt Grove, Matt Morris, Cody Winecki, Zach Weaver, another 7 cars getting ready for heat number 2. Francois Martel says that's how you start a season in the text chat, and we have to agree. As we're revving them up, another 6 laps. Top 2 will transfer here in Scotland. Green flag. Even start from the front row between Angie and Romain Rateau. We remember Rateau from a couple seasons ago. Robichaux to the inside of Angie down to turn number 2. Single file. Will there be a little bumping and banging? Not for the top 2. I lied. Robichaux gives him a little nudge. Matt Morris pushes out in front of Cody Winecki and through the dirt for the first time. Single file. Much calmer than the last heat race, the first heat race of the season. And we're going to notice, remember, no Joker on the first lap.
Oh, that was close. I thought Matthew Morris was going to hit the tire barriers actually in the dirt section there, Josh. Sorry to cut you off.
All good. At the end of the first lap, Romain Rateau leads the Frenchman in car number 23. Car 23's got a good history in this championship. It was the car number that Chris Wetch drove to most of his victories, so who knows what the Frenchman can do in that Ford Fiesta. Steve Angie, a new driver to the championship, in car number 7.
Robichaux goes wide through turn 2, Josh. He's going to merge right with Matthew Morris.
Contact between them and put the Canadian back to the 4th position, the Sportsman champion, I should say, from a couple seasons ago in car number 93. Nearly Morris into the tires again.
That's 2 laps in a row, Josh.
And Robichaux is going to follow him. I would hate to do this if you're faster than one of your competitors, Phil. As fastest lap 37.0 to Romain Rateau.
Yeah, they're going to merge into traffic right behind Matthew Grove here. It looks like Grove's going to stay to the right, but that might catch out Justin Robichaux again. He's going to be side by side in the turn 1. No, he's going to clear him before the corner.
Robichaux clears him, both nearly off the road on the AstroTurf. So you're going to be asking me, Josh, what the hell does this Sportsman mean? Well, in iRacing, you have an I rating. It's a rating on how good of a driver you are. If you're under a certain amount, you do race within a championship. As Morris struggles around in front of Grove. He saves it, kind of. He's back on the road in the 24. So we'll have a championship within a championship. We'll mention that throughout the season. And it just gives a couple of the lower skilled guys, I hate to say that term, but lower skilled guys an opportunity to have a championship victory and some bragging rights as well.
Never mind, he pulled off. I was going to say, the leader was going to be coming up on a car who was stopped in the dirt section, but Zach Weaver pulled off the track just in time for Romain.
As Romain Rateau will take to the Joker in the 23. He has not jokered until now. Steve Angie in car 7 has. Justin Robichaux has as well. Angie deep on the brakes and no contest as we take 2 laps to go. Here in heat number 2 as we look at Matt Grove in his first start in the 472. Brand new member to NASA as we welcome him as he takes his joker in that Ford Fiesta. He's battling Cody Wienecke in the 903 as Wienecke in one of the TWR Subi Squad teams.
You say new to NASA Rallycross, Josh. I think a lot of drivers in this race are new to NASA Rallycross. I don't recognize Steve Angie, Matthew Grove, Matthew Morris, or Zach Weaver. There's a lot of new faces in NASA Rallycross this season, and it's really nice to see that.
As some turmoil through the last season, we were able to make it through. We had a little bit of an issue on car count, but it's great to see 26, maybe 27 cars. Again, it might be a server limitation. We apologize for that. Rateau resets fastest lap at a 36.7, but it's great to see the health of Rallycross on iRacing and in NASA Rallycross, selfishly, of course. Really, after a couple of rough seasons after that Nitro Circus partnership, coming back and becoming stronger than ever. As for the next 10 weeks, we will be here on the Automotive Sports Network as myself, Philip Kraus, Bryan Sawyer, happy to bring coverage all season long. Another guy that's happy is Romain Rateau, Phil. He wins heat number 2 ahead of Steve Angie in his first start. So 2 bonus points to Rateau and also 2 bonus points to Magnus Okenhaug.
He won that in dominating fashion, Josh. Definitely a lot calmer than the first heat, but I think we needed that to catch our breaths a little bit after the hectic finish of the first heat.
As I'm going to count how many voice cracks. We're already at 1 for the 2023A season. And we talk about in the opener, I mentioned how important those bonus points are. And I remember that you've won championships on it. I've won championships. We'll see Cody Erdman return, the former champion, in heat number 4. Those bonus points, super important, because if you rack up enough, you can kind of have a terrible race and still get away with it. Josh Clogg, Carson McKenna, Ament, Kingsbury, Quinn, and Jake Robichaux. We get ready for heat number 3 in Scotland. Former champion Clogg off the line alongside McKenna, who won in Barcelona last season. Down to turn number 1. McKenna edges ahead, but he runs it wide. One car, Kingsbury in the 21 on his return, ends up around in the Subaru, and the man from Connecticut in the back of the field, Josh Clogg. Like I mentioned, former champion of the series, won here last season, but couldn't capitalize against Francois Martel and Alex Abeti as we go through the dirt for the first time.
Obviously, that was not the return to NASA Rallycross that Matt Kingsbury is looking forward to, but these other 5 cars, it looks like, are going to stay pretty close here as we go through the final corner to finish the first lap. Right as I say that, someone goes wide. That looked like Brock Quinn in the 005, and Jake Robichaux into the wall as well before the start-finish line. I just had to say something, Josh. As Matt Kingsbury illegally jokers, he's going to be disqualified from this heat race. Jake Robichaux had issues in the final corner, and Brock Quinn almost jokered, but he caught himself in the 005. And one car to keep an eye on, a dark horse in this race, is Justin Ament. We saw speed from the 6. He was the 12 last season. We saw speed from him throughout that season. Not consistent, but I'm excited to see what car number 6 can do. Will we see jokers on the second lap? McKenna takes it, so does Ament. So we'll keep an eye on former champion Clogg to see if he can hold this advantage. It looks like Quinn jokers behind them as well, so those cars aren't going to have to deal with any traffic. So this should be a clean run, give Carson McKenna a good chance to flaunt any pace he might have over Josh Clogg. We'll have to see how it cycles around. If I'm Josh Clogg, I'm taking the joker the next lap to cover the strategy. I don't know if you'd do the same thing, Josh, or you'd run it out like Chris Wetz. As soon as the guy that you're racing with jokers, I instantly want to cover it, because you never know what could happen, and you want to be able to cover that instantly. But the 2022A champion Clogg does not take the joker as we begin to take cross flags halfway home in heat number 3 here in Scotland. We'll have to check the lap times, Josh, as last time Clogg did a 37.3, and where is he? Okay, there we go. Sorry, I was floundering a little bit. McKenna, 37.3. They were equal, and that's not a good sign for McKenna, because when you take that joker, you should gain, like, I want to say 3 or 4 tenths just from the extra speed you're carrying across the line. So just to match Clogg, that means it's not looking good for McKenna. As Justin Ament has jokered, so has McKenna. Clogg has not, so we'll have to take a look and see. Josh Clogg, 5-time winner in the championship. Off the road.
McKenna runs it wide, and we're going to look at this battle. I think we're going to be focusing on this battle, Phil, because you know when you start squabbling as McKenna into the fence. In the 11, we ride on board looking back at Justin Ament down to turn 1. 5-time race winner Clog out and away from the rest of the field, the former champion. I don't think we got to worry about him. Like I said, it's a focus between these two for the transfer. And if we got our math right, we were talking to Justin Robichaud before the drivers' meeting, there's going to be like 10 cars in each LCQ. We might split them up into 2, but still, that's going to be
that's going to be hectic because
turn 1.
We've seen how it's gone with...
Ament deep on the brakes as we take the white flag.
Gives McKenna a bit of a bump, almost bumped him again there, as you were saying, Josh, but... yeah, we've seen with these 6-car and 7-car races that's been pretty hectic, so I can only imagine with 10 that's going to be so much worse. But one thing to note on McKenna's car, that there's a significant amount of damage on the front end of that Subaru, and I have to wonder how much that's costing him.
As I don't know what buttons Bryan is pushing. We still have a lap to go in this heat race, but Josh Clog still leads. He's going to take the Joker on the final lap.
Justin's there. He's going to have a chance to send it in the final corner, Josh. He almost clips the tires.
We don't want to focus on Clog. Will he back up the corner? Ament rounding the final corner. Sends it to the inside. Gives him a nudge. Side by
it's going to be a drag race to the line.
Oh. Carson takes the spot.
I got to say, Josh, Justin was very nice to Carson McKenna there. If I was McKenna, I'd be counting my lucky stars. Because... I'm watching that back, and I'm seeing Justin. He closes up so much in the middle of that final corner, and he just slams on the binders to avoid from using the old chrome horn.
I was expecting a bump. That was really nice. As Brian Sawyer says, sorry about that off feed. It's okay. It's the first race of the championship. We're all going to stumble. We're all going to stumble throughout this first race. Thank you for joining us here on the Automotive Sports Network, whether it's live or on demand. We got a couple champions in this race. Alex Abeti, defending champion of the NASA Rallycross Challenge in car number 1, Sabian Ragster. Cody Erdman, champion of the series in 2016A and 2017A. Jess Rakowski, Chris Wetz, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, and Olivier Rateau in the 63. The second father-son combination, along with the Robichauds, to race in this championship. Another 6 laps as we get ready. Jumps! That is going to be huge. He'll have to serve whatever penalty it is. And down to turn 1, Chris Wentz is going to be in second. We'll try and hold our excitement down to the first corner. And Abeti is going to just park it. Will he? I'm looking off monitor.
I think that's a time penalty post-race for jumping the start. Correct me if I'm wrong, Josh.
I believe it is. Chris Wetz goes to the race lead. Sabian Ragster in second. I don't want to talk too much, Phil, because we remember what happened last season to the man from Texas.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about it, Josh. We're going to stay real quiet on that.
From California, and Cody Erdman racing under a German license from Wisconsin, the former series champion out of retirement, and Jess Rakowski from Maryland. As we end the first lap, Wetz leads, Ragster, Erdman, Rakowski, Olivier Rateau, and Alex Abeti.
He still sat there at turn 1,
He's
Josh.
out.
I'm not sure what's going on.
I think it is a post-race penalty.
Car.
It is for sure a post-race penalty, so
as he's gotten
that's
out of the car
crucial.
now.
That's an odd mistake, too. Maybe because you know that the lights pop up, then they go red, then they go green. Maybe you're so focused at that light popping up, you don't recognize the color. You just drop the clutch when it goes red.
And maybe he even has a double clutch set up on his wheel, and he just let one of the clutches slip, as we see Cody Erdman be the first taker into the Joker here on lap 2. Looks like he's going to be our only taker on this lap. Correction, Olivier Rateau's taking the Joker as well. As we look at Wetz and Ragster as we ride on board the 91. Erdman took the Joker, 4th all-time on the wins list with 18 wins. Wetz still holding his own in the 71. He was 2/10 down on Sabian Ragster that last lap. Jess Rakowski in the 999 sits in 3rd. We ride on board looking back at Ragster from Chris Wetz in the 71. Ragster nearly into the tires, and I talked about in the open how precise you have to be. That shows it. And who is this guy? Because Chris Wetz always jokers at the end of the race. Did that just happen, Josh?
I don't know what we're watching.
We gotta note that down.
One car around, it's Erdman in the 52. Olivier Rateau had some issues as well. Ragster will filter the race lead as he resets fastest lap at a 37.828. Chris Wetz. So if we look at that delta, it's about 5 seconds.
The Joker delta is about 5.5 seconds, Josh. That's not counting in the next lap, so they should merge pretty close together, and it looks like Ragster has a significant advantage over Wetz in the dirt section specifically, because last lap Ragster almost crashed because he was slowing down for Chris.
as Wetz well documented that he's been struggling on the iRacing platform. And for those of you that are new, we talk about Joker Delta. What the hell does that mean? Well, Savian has to be 5 seconds up the road ahead of Chris Wetz in order to come out of the Joker and hold the race lead as we take 2 laps to go. But the man from Texas looking good. I might have spoke too soon, but we'll have to wait and see as Rakowski sits in third if anything goes wrong. I think Cody Erdman crashed into one of those tire barriers that bit me once or twice when I was testing here, along with Olivier Rateau, but the commitment from Sabian Ragster, Phil.
Just checking it back, Cody Erdman and Olivier Rateau both were victims of the tire barriers. Chris Wetz just has to not crash the car, really, and make sure he solidifies the second place. It looks like Ragster's going to have him, as the gap's going to be over 6 seconds at the line here, as Sabian pumps in the fastest lap of the race, a 37.457.
If I know anything about Sabian Ragster, the longer he has with a car, the better he gets, the more focused he gets. Ragster's going to be held up by Olivier Rateau in the 63.
This is going to be significant, Josh.
Through the dirt, because it's one groove, he can't get by him. Rateau's going to have to...
lost so much time.
We'll have to see. It's going to be nip and tuck through the Joker. Ragster takes the longer lap. Where is Chris Wetz? I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe it will. Wetz runs it wide, and Ragster takes heat 4. But Wetz transfers! He didn't make it last season, but Chris Wetz has made a feature in the 27th season of the championship. Well done, my friend. Yes, I'm supposed to say unbiased.
I really didn't want to say too much about it, but he's done it. He's finally transferred through to a final.
You can't be biased. Yes, I can. He's been around for 10 and a half years.
I can be biased, too.
For Underfunded Motorsports is his team name that he registered as. The man from Texas makes the feature. Rakowski, Erdman, Rateau, and defending champion Abedi. Let's not forget, Phil, car number 1, red plate, out. He's going to the LCQ.
And not only is he going to the LCQ, Josh, he's gridding last in his LCQ. He's got such an uphill battle.
As we got informed by Bryan Sawyer, it's not a post-race penalty. The sim makes you go to the pit lane because the pits work at this track. It's a regular road course. But, Phil, the pits are blocked off. So that basically...
That's a bit of an issue.
If you jump, you're screwed. We get ready for the first LCQ of the season. There's going to be 9 cars. Bodie Cryer, Ament, Peterson, Quinn, Crosgrove, Jake Robichaux, Ivanhoe, Matt Kingsbury, Dylan Thomas. My hard hat's in the truck. I can't go and get it fast enough.
I took your hard hat. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
It's not even there.
I'll have to get one at the office. I'll have to get one at the office on Wednesday, but
Did you bring a reflective vest at least?
I do have one in the bottom of my dresser. As we get ready, the winner will transfer out of this race. Let's take a breath. I'll try not to scream too much. This is a 5-lap race. Joker lap once. The winner transfers. As we get ready in Scotland. Ament started to creep off the line. He gets a better jump than Cryer. Off the line, down to turn 1. 3 wide with Peterson, Quinn, and that's Crosgrove in the 18. Calm in the first couple of spots. Jake Robichaux with Dylan Thomas. Thomas loops it in the 0-0, and Matt Kingsbury gets turned by Ivanhoe off the start.
Yeah, Ivanhoe, Matt Kingsbury, and not Justin Ament, they were all caught up in that incident. They were 4 wide going into turn 1, and that's just never going to work at a track like Knockhill.
Crosgrove in the 18. He hits the 59 of Peterson there out of the dirt. And now Justin Ament ahead of Bodie Cryer. Cryer won an Endurance Cup championship a couple seasons ago, so it's interesting to see that, but Justin Ament, right where he wants to be at the end of the first lap.
We know Bodie Cryer is an amazing driver of the jumpy trucks, as I like to call him. He's not as good. He doesn't run Rallycross stuff as much, but he's gotten so much better at these Rallycross-style tracks as he's raced in NASA, but really the Endurance Cup tracks are his bread and butter.
Through the dirt, Ament leads. Cryer second. Peterson third. Crosgrove, Quinn, Jake Robichaux, Ivanhoe, as Kingsbury and Thomas off monitor are door banging, hooked onto each other. It's a ding-dong, as you would say, through the dirt. They are battling for 6th spot, 8th spot, something crazy like that.
Yeah, they're not going through the transfer, but every position matters in the Master Rallycross Challenge, and they're going to take the Joker together, Josh. They're inseparable.
Ament took the Joker. He got by Brock Quinn. He's going to be behind Cody Crosgrove in the 18, and this is crucial for Cryer to maximize that Ament is in traffic now. As Thomas and Kingsbury off monitor, they are still battling down the front straightaway. And Cryer goes to the Joker. Where is Ament here, Phil? Cosgrove ahead of him. He's going to get by Cryer, but Cryer's going to have the run off the corner. Merge, no contact, but he's going to still be behind Justin Ament. Russell Peterson, fastest lap.
He's got a chance here, though, Josh. Cody Cosgrove's in the way a little bit. As I say that, he goes wide at turn 2, commentator's curse, and he's going to block Cody Cryer instead.
Is this so tricky to get that second corner right because you're coming off the AstroTurf, and it's easy to lock the rears like Cosgrove did and overcorrect, and this is crucial for Ament. Like we've said, now he can start to pull away with Cosgrove in between him and Cryer. Cosgrove all over the road as the 18 takes the Joker.
1 lap to go here, Josh, and the gap looks like it's about a second. I don't think Cody Cryer's going to be able to close this down. Barring a mistake from Justin Ament, and judging off of our commentator's curse counter, there's a good chance that Ament flies off the track here turn 2, but looks like he's going to keep it neat and tidy here, Josh.
As car seats well into the rut on the inside by the tire barrier, bouncy through the dirt. Cryer, if anything, well, we've seen crazier things happen here where someone crashes on the last lap in the last corner, so we can't say anything really. We look at Russell Peterson battling Brock Quinn as they're battling for the 3rd spot, but the final corner, redemption for Justin Ament. He wins the first LCQ of the season, and Cryer is the first man out. He will come home in 11th position. As 13th for Peterson, 15th Cosgrove, 17th Quinn, 19th Ivanhoe, 21st Dylan Thomas, as it is odd cars down the order, 23rd, 25th, Jake Robichaux and Matt Kingsbury. That was quick, Phil. We have 1 LCQ left.
It's such a short track, and just with these 6-lap and 5-lap races, it's rapid fire, because the laps are under 40 seconds. They're closer to 35 than 40, so blink and you miss everything.
As remember, our coverage this evening and all season long brought to you by NordVPN. Check out asnTVUSA.com and click on NordVPN for up to 63% off a 2-year plan, as we thank them for their support of the Automotive Sports Network. If you're just joining us, we are in the 2nd LCQ here in Knockhill, and our defending champion, Alex Abetty, is last on the grid. Robichaux, Rakowski, Grove, Erdman, Wienecke, Rateau, Morris, Abetty, Weaver. Another 9 cars, 5 laps, and only the winner transfers. It's going to be a tall order. And it's been a long time since the defending champion doesn't transfer in the first race. It might actually have been you or I that missed the transfer spot. It's been that long.
Sounds like something we do. We had our occasional bottles.
Robichaux, former sportsman champion. Erdman, former series champion 2 seasons in a row. Abetty, defending champion. Couple of new faces. Jess Rakowski, a sportsman winner last season.
This is going to be hectic, Josh. Abetty's got it all to do.
As we get ready to grid, we await the last car on the grid, I do believe. Unless we are revving them up and getting ready for the 2nd LCQ. Green flag in Scotland. It's 3 wide with Wienecke, Grove, and Erdman.
Abetty's around.
Abetty gets turned by Olivier Rateau.
Yeah, it looks
and
like
our
they
defending
just
champion out.
It looks like their wheels just touched and it launched the 1 car into the air, and yeah, that's the race over for Abetty. That's definitely not the start to your championship defense you'd be looking forward to, but we still got a race on our hands, Josh.
Erdman got shoved out wide in turn 2, so the former champion out of the picture as well. Justin Robichaux will lead us into the final corner. Rakowski clips the dirt and slides into the barrier, into Matt Grove in the 472.
The seas have parted for Cody Wienecke up to 2nd.
And the teammates, the Subi Doobie squad with sequential teammates, door banging down the front straightaway. Erdman takes the spot over Rakowski. And Wienecke deep on the brakes into turn 2. Morris takes the spot.
Now we got Erdman bearing down on this group of 2. We'll have to see if he can make a move after the dirt section. And the dirt section is just, it's way too tight to really realistically make a move, Josh. At least I would say. But we've seen crazier things as Matthew Morris almost hits the wall again.
Robichaux into the Joker. We're going to notice some merging here. Robichaux's going to come out between 3 cars.
That was not a good call. I don't think that was a good call, Josh.
Passes Erdman. He's not going to be able to catch Wienecke unless he's going to make me be a liar. Deep on the brakes. Not an ideal driving line. Wienecke runs it wide. We had contact in the back between Rateau.
That's open the door for Erdman.
and Rakowski. Erdman goes to third. And this track reminds me a lot of Croft from those old days from NR 2003, especially this dirt section. So bumpy, so hard to get right. We're already coming to 2 laps to go here, Phil.
Yeah, sadly, nothing can really recreate Croft. I'd die to have those 4 unique layouts again, as it looks like that was Wienecki flying into the Joker there off screen almost.
Locked up the right front of that Subaru. And now Matt Morris with 2 laps to go will lead. He has not taken the Joker in the 24. Robichaux ahead of Cody Erdman, the former champion. He has not jokered either. Morris runs it wide. Robichaux looks, but he's got...
Yeah, he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to go for this move. He's got a Joker Delta on all these cars. He just needs to be smart, wait for Morris to take his Joker, and then cycle to the lead, pretty much.
I was gonna say, you saved me there. Words are very hard. There's no Joker Delta with Robichaux. Erdman changed his mind.
It looks like he got caught up behind Robichaux there, so he couldn't really push the Joker as much as he wanted to.
As we take the final lap in the second LCQ, Matt Morris looks like, unless something goes wrong, he's going to come home in 12th, which is not a bad debut. And Cody Erdman will come home in 14th. We still got a lap to go, but anything can happen. Usually does. Wienecki, turn 1, way out wide in the 903. As we've lost Matt Grove, Alex Abetty, Matt Kingsbury. We've lost a decent amount of cars. Jess Rakowski still on track, but Justin Robichaux, former sportsman champion in the overall class now. He wins the second LCQ in Knockhill. He'll be our 10th and final seed, ahead of Matt Morris, who comes home 12th. Erdman 14th, 16th Wienecki. Looks like 18th will be Rateau, 20th Rakowski, 22nd Grove, 24th and last for Alex Abetty.
Not quite last, Josh. I believe 25th was given in the first LCQ. Correctly.
So we welcome you back here to Knockhill. We've had some crazy stuff happen. If you're on ASN On Demand, you have no idea what just happened, because with the lovely piece of software that's Adobe Premiere Pro, we were able to cut it all out. But long story short, I'm not going to mince words, and I probably shouldn't say this, but one of our drivers don't know the format. It broke the entire session. We've had to create like 3 new sessions, and welcome to NASA Rallycross. Phil Kraus, at least we're not having to swim in a basement like Bryan Sawyer is.
He's got his swim trunks out. I don't have to bring mine out yet. I've actually got to get my jacket out. It's freezing out here. We had freezing rain all day today.
Let me make sure that the session can be sent forward. I might have to disappear for just a minute, and then I'll be back. Once Bryan streams on Discord, our internal feed, we'll be able to see what's going on. It's been a crazy evening. Welcome to NASA Rallycross, presented by NordVPN, TrekCams 22, Overwatch Specialty Service, all of our partners. I think we're going to have a completely random grid for this race. So we're
like it is set, Josh.
We're learning
This is
together.
on the pole. Yeah, okay, yeah, the grid is set.
The grid. Woo, let's take a breath. We are getting ready for the first round of the championship. Magnus Okenhaug, Romain Rateau, Josh Klug, Sabian Ragster, Martel, Angie, McKenna, Wetz, Ament, and Robichaux. Francois Martel's in the wrong car, so we're going to send him to the back of the grid as we get ready in Scotland. What a cluster already. As we go green, Magnus, terrible start, clogged through the middle on Rateau.
More wide into turn 1.
Turn number 1, Ragster on the outside, Magnus nearly hits Klug, he's into Rateau, and around the Frenchman goes from the race lead, or battling for it, I should say, in turn 1. Ament shoves McKenna out of the way, side by side, it's Martel versus Ragster. Martel to second spot ahead of Ragster, but Josh Klug, remember we talked about in the Open how he won this race last season. There's no Alex Abetty. He's right where he wants to be, as Martel, Ragster, Okenhaug, everybody else under a blanket. The man from Maryland, Josh Klug, former champion, out and away.
I gotta say, Josh, the Josh Klug villain arc is starting off with a bang, as he's got a dominant lead right now. 2 seconds over Francois Martel in second, who, as you've alluded to, is in the wrong car. We'll have to see what he can do in that Ford. He hasn't done any laps in it, so we'll have to see. But Savian Ragster's applying some pretty heavy pressure on him right now for second.
He mentioned that it was a handicap in the Discord chat because he hasn't ran any laps, so I can't exactly be mad. I was going to yell at him and tell him to go to the back, but it's been a crazy evening so far. We're going to see the first Joker rotation. Nobody in the top three. Magnus all the way off the road to take to the Joker. We're focused on Justin Ament there. Contact in the back. It's with McKenna and Chris Wetz. As Jokering, looks like that is Magnus. Fastest lap 37.5 for Josh Klog. As Magnus gets by, he sits in the 5th position.
And it looks like Magnus is going to have some clean track here to put some good laps down. We'll have to see how long that lasts because if Martel jokers, he'll be merging right in front of Magnus. But if he can get clean track, he might have a chance to jump all these guys ahead of him, Josh.
As some people would say that Josh Klog lucked into his championship. As we remember, Luke Kraus was leading that championship all season long and then left. And the last couple rounds of the championship, Klog snuck the championship away. Martel sits in 2nd, Ragster 3rd, Ament in 4th. Good run for him. 5th for Okenhaug, 6th for Wetz. Don't know what he's doing. He normally jokers at the end of the race. Robichaux, McKenna, as it looks like we're missing a couple cars, unless I'm off base there. That is all the cars, as we can take a look at the Joker laps on the ticker there.
Pretty spread out right now, Josh. It looks like Ragster might be closing in on Martel a little bit for 2nd, but we'll have to see if anything comes from that. As Justin Ament takes the Joker from 4th. He should merge behind Okenhaug, but it will be a bit close between those two. It looks like he'll actually merge right there with Okenhaug. He's going to cross him over, and he's going to pull the move off into turn 1, taking 4th place from Magnus Okenhaug.
Ament goes to 4th. 5th will be Okenhaug. 6th, Ratteau. 7th, Justin Robichaux. 8th, Steve Angie. 9th, Chris Wetz. And 10th, Carson McKenna. The only man that could stop Josh Klog is Francois Martel, but he's running out of time as we take halfway home. As I interrupted you rudely, Phil. Go ahead.
He's running out of time, Josh, and I don't think he's gone quicker than a Josh Klog on a single one of these laps. And whereas I say that, he goes 4/10 quicker, setting the fastest lap of the race at 36.921.
What an entry to turn 2, but he couldn't make it stick. He was great on corner entry, but overcooked the middle of the corner and went wide. Did Martel in car number 12.
Going wide. Justin Ament's gone wide through turn 2 as well, and that's allowed Romain Ratteau through for, it looks like, 4th place.
That is 4th place for car number 23. And Chris Wetz battling with McKenna for 9th. They're battling like it's for the race lead.
And we know Romain Ratteau has insane pace in that Fiesta. He just didn't have the start he was looking forward to have, as we see Justin Ament going around the wrong side of the tires there through the penultimate corner. Be interesting to see what happened to him there to cause that. But he still holds the position over Okenhaug, sitting in 4th place right now.
We got a ding-dong for 2nd, as you would say, between Francois Martel and Savian Ragster. Martel overcooked it in turn 2 yet again. Ragster's here. I don't want to say the race is over for the race lead, but Klog is out and away like he has been. Ragster jokers in the 91. Everyone has taken their jokers from 5th on back. So now, will all this battling that the midfield have done, will it hurt them? Exiting the joker, Ragster, no competition for him against Ament.
He's just kind of by himself right now. Ament made a pretty big mistake of that last lap, which cost him a lot of time in according to Okenhaug. So when he takes his 2nd joker, he should drop behind Okenhaug, Ratteau, and probably Justin Robichaux as well. But Ragster looks pretty comfortable for 3rd at worst. He's going to be battling Martel for 2nd.
Klog exits. Martel exits. Ragster's going to have to joker as well. They're going to have no competition. Maybe Justin Ament can battle Ragster for the podium spot. Will the American round the final corner?
Okenhaug, he's going to merge right next to him. There's going to be contact maybe.
Close between those two as we take 2 laps to go.
Yeah, that was really heads-up driving by Magnus Okenhaug there. He pinched his exit to make sure he didn't clean out Savian Ragster. He definitely didn't have to do that, but it was the sporting thing to do of him. Is he's going to give Ragster a bit of a push through turn 2 to remind him, hey, I'm here. I know I gave you room, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to roll over for you.
Jokering is Klog. Jokering is Martel. Ament will have to joker as well. So the man in the catbird seat is Ragster if anything goes wrong, but Klog's just so far ahead.
Ragster's gone wide in the final corner. He's been pushed wide by Okenhaug. That's 2 places and 1 corner down for Ragster.
Takes the spot. White flag. We're battling for 5th. Immense going to have
Toes
one
looking for
joker
it.
left. This is going to be a battle for a podium spot, Phil. Magnus Okenhagen and Romain Rateau, as the leaders are checked out. They have
Don't
been
say that,
since
Josh. Don't say that. We know you can crash in the final lap here at Knockhill. It's happened many times before. Don't jinx my boy Josh like that.
Final corner for the former champion Josh Klog. A crazy race, but Klog's going to do it 2 in a row and start the season off in style. 6th career win for the man from Maryland, ahead of Francois Martel, finishes 2nd, and Magnus comes home in the 3rd spot, ahead of Romain Rateau. Ragster, Robichaux, Ament, Angie, Wetz, and McKenna. Phil, if we can get a quick final thought, as Bryan's house is floating away, so we're going to have to call it an early night.
Yeah, that might be a bit of an issue. What a hectic race, Josh. Obviously, Klog was able to pull away, but it was a melee 2nd through 10th that entire race. Obviously, there were a bit of a technical difficulty there between the B-main and the final, but really good racing today, and I'm really glad to see NASA Rallycross is back.
As next Monday, the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge will return. We're going to be in Brands Hatch for the 2nd round of the championship. Josh Klog will hold the red plate. Completely forgot about the sportsman battle this evening. We'll recap you before the race in Brands Hatch. From all of us at the Automotive Sports Network, Bryan Sawyer, Philip Kraus, my name is Josh Mertz. We hope you enjoyed today's coverage. Apologize for the technical difficulties. Hopefully Bryan Sawyer's house doesn't float away. Either way, we'll see you next week in Brands Hatch. So long, everyone.